All right, you guys, thanks for jumping on. My name's Christina Sullins, and I am a 15-star diamond coach with Dream Extreme. And today I wanted to interview one of my brand new diamond coaches. She hit this rank in, I think we didn't even talk about this, but I think it's been a little bit under 5 months, which is an awesome achievement. And I thought it would be a great opportunity to ask her a few questions about how she did this so that if you're a newer coach on our team or you're working towards this milestone yourself, this is going to be a huge training tool. So I invite you to take pen and paper, take notes. And if you're not familiar with Beachbody coaching and you're not familiar with what Diamond Rank is, it's basically where your business starts as a real business. So it's the platform that each person needs to hit to start making a full-time income working part-time hours. So it's pretty cool. It's an awesome achievement. Not everyone definitely makes it to this rank. So I'm super excited to introduce to you guys my new friend, Crystal Diamond. She's happily married. She has 2 kids. She's a nurse practitioner and a lactation consultant. And she's a brand new diamond coach as of, was it October that you hit it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So as of October 2015. So Crystal, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and how you got started with coaching?
Sure. So like you said, I'm a mom of 2. I have a 12-month-old and a 4-year-old, and I'm happily married, and we live in the Chicagoland area. Like you said, I'm a nurse practitioner. I work in the neonatal intensive care unit, and I'm also a lactation consultant, which I do like some private practice work with that. So I've been doing that for about 15 years now, and I've always loved it. It's a great field. It's very rewarding. But after having my own kids, it became very difficult doing procedures on babies, doing night calls, working like 16, 24-hour shifts at night, and having to work holidays and weekends. So those things are kind of what led me into wanting to do the business. And having known you and Lisa and kind of watching you guys throughout the years, just knowing that this opportunity does work, it kind of just was always like in like the back of my mind that I had this opportunity to make a change, but I just wasn't really ready to. So I signed up to coach. I don't know, I think I actually signed up and then I didn't do anything the first time with you. And then after having my baby, I was really unhappy. I was really overweight, kind of antisocial, and just needed to make a change. And I did the program 21 Day Fix. And I had signed up to coach with you again. And I want to say like the first 5 or 6 weeks, I didn't do anything. I didn't tell my husband that I signed up. I didn't tell anybody that I signed up. And once I started doing 21 Day Fix and that first week of doing it and seeing the results, like I was just so motivated. And I decided I'm doing this. And that's kind of when I made the decision and kind of ran with it. So.
It's funny that you say that because a lot of people sign up and have a really slow start, or they sign up as a customer and they just focus on their fitness or challenge groups or whatnot. So I think that it's really important for everyone else to know that it's totally normal,
Mm-hmm.
and that you can turn it around and see great success.
Mm-hmm.
So number 2 is, how is your mindset different from when you first signed as a coach to where it is now, to the point where you, to where it is now?
Okay. Well, I mean, it's kind of night and day how I feel now versus when I first signed up. Like I said, I was overweight. It was baby weight, but I was overweight. I'm actually 25 pounds less now than I was when I got pregnant. So was overweight. And I was very shy. I'm a very shy, kind of introverted person. I'm still an introvert, but a lot of the shyness has kind of disappeared. not disappeared. It's diminished. I'm working on that still, but just no confidence at all. Kind of more just pessimistic about everything, kind of always seeing the negative. And once I really got started doing this, one, when I saw the results physically, I obviously started feeling better just internally and emotionally and everything. And I started seeing the positives in everything. So even just like having to go in for a night shift at the hospital, I would see a positive in it. Oh, well, if I have downtime, I'll put a little work in on the business, or I just kind of turn things around. And it's impacted like so many things. It's impacted my relationship with my husband, how I interact with my kids. People in the community, other moms that I know are always telling me like, oh, you're so happy and so positive all the time. And it's, so I'm not the only one noticing it, which has been great.
Awesome. So at what point did you really decide you wanted to go for this?
It was about that week after doing 21 Day Fix. I mean, it's hard. Like I knew I wanted to go for it when I signed up, but then that fear kind of overcame me and kind of like, I was just kind of hiding, like thinking about it, watching everybody else, but I wasn't really ready to like put myself out there. And it's actually interesting because shortly after signing up, like I said, I didn't tell anybody. And I went on like a play date with a acquaintance of mine. And she's now a friend, but she was an acquaintance. And she asked if I wanted to go to lunch afterwards. And I was like, oh, no, I just had a shake. I'm really full. At that point, I had been doing Shakeology for about three or 4 weeks. And she said to me, it's not Shakeology, is it? And I'm like, she's like, because everybody, all my neighbors, everybody's always, everybody's selling that stuff. And I kind of like retreated and I was like, well, yeah, it is. But, I'm a coach, but I'm just doing it for the discount. And so I think like I went home and in my mind, I wasn't going to do it because of that one experience. But then after seeing the results and like feeling better and watching you guys, I kind of just decided that nothing's going to change in my life. So in a year from now, I'm going to be unhappy with the same things 5 years from now. And then I was picturing myself being 50 years old, having to go in and work a 16 or 24-hour shift at work. I mean, because they're not going to age discriminate and say once you hit 50, you don't have to do it. So, I mean, nothing was going to change. But I will tell you that friend of mine, she actually did sign up as a coach. She's one of my coaches.
So, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that on so many levels because everyone encounters, negative people. And it's not that they're negative, but they might see something negative about your business. And it instantly makes you feel like, oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing? But at the end of the day, people are looking for leaders. People want to be around positive, happy go-getters, people that are doing something with their life. So she had one impression of Shakeology, and not only did you turn that around, but I'm sure she signed up not just because of Shakeology, but she signed up because of you and your positive attitude and wanting to be around people like that. That's awesome. Okay. All right. So number 4. In 5 months, approximately, you went diamond. And I want to ask you, and not only diamond, so for those that, are looking at the comp plan, diamond is about 8 coaches that you've personally sponsored, plus you've helped 2 of your coaches jump to emerald rank. But you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have 12 personally sponsored coaches plus 3 coaches underneath your husband's account. So you have 15 coaches that you've sponsored since enrollment. And not only since enrollment, since you're like, okay, I'm ready to go for this. I'm ready to treat this like a real business. So this is a huge accomplishment. And not only that, but I'm looking at your account right now, and every single coach is active. And that's a rarity. So it goes to show that you have everyone on Shakeology and everyone in forward motion. most likely the 21-day fix, because that's the program that you achieved success on. So what are some of the specific activities that you did on a regular basis to make that happen, as far as recruiting and enrolling coaches?
So not just the aspects of what I'm doing to build the business, but just the coaching aspects or to recruit people?
You can give both.
Okay. So I think really to get going, what I did was I jumped into the trainings that you guys provided for us. It kind of makes it like a blueprint right there for you. So I did like the 14-day internship and then the new coach apprenticeship that you guys have. And I did it to a T. Like everything you guys asked, I did. And one of the biggest things that I did was, when we say to bring in or to invite 3 people, I would try to invite 5 or more. Now, it wouldn't happen every single day, but there were a lot of days where I was at like 5 or 8 people that I was inviting per day. So I went a little above and beyond just what the recommendations were, because I knew I wanted to build at that point. The other thing is obviously being a product of the product, like doing my program and sharing my successes, but not just focusing on the physical aspects, sharing the emotional journey and just the journey itself. So, and that's pretty much on Facebook. So they tend to be long posts, and it's kind of like a story of like how I'm feeling and what I'm doing. And I feel like maybe that helps me relate a little bit better than when I was just sharing my physical results. I noticed a bigger response to those kind of posts. The other thing is, I always say I hate using this word, but the target market. I think once I really just realized what my target market was, those are the people that I'm reaching out to, and those are the people I'm talking to. Those are the people that are going to be drawn to me. So kind of just embracing that and networking and, finding new friends within that target market. And that was all through Facebook for me as well, through Facebook groups pretty much. The other things were consistency with social media postings. Even when I felt like nobody was listening, nobody was liking, nobody was commenting. You guys always say that what we're doing now is we'll see in 3 months, typically 3 months from now. And that's kind of what I noticed. Maybe not exactly 3 months. Some of it might've been 2 months, but a lot of the work that I was doing before would then reap, later. What else? Those are probably the main things. And then in regards to bringing on new coaches and recruiting, it was pretty much the same thing, just sharing my story, bringing in people into my challenge group. And pretty much all of my coaches have come from my challenge group, with the exception of 2 or 3 of them. So I would just look for those people that are doing the program, seeing results, they're posting about it, they're really engaged in the group, and they're commenting and cheering on others in the group. So I would reach out to those people and ask them if they considered it. I would sometimes lead. It depends on the personality, but I would lead with the business, unless I guess you don't want to prejudge people, but some people I would just lead with the discount, depending on whether or not they were on Shakeology every month.
Can you give an example of what you say to them when you message them?
Sure. So I'll message them, like it's typically around the time they're the ones that are engaged and making a lot of posts. So I'll typically message them and congratulate them on, their success, whatever they lost, whatever they shared, whether it's, fitting into their, their fall boots that, their calves didn't fit in before or something, just anything that they posted, and just acknowledging how great they're doing. And then I usually thank them for being a part of the group. I thank them for participating in the group and for being so engaging and for cheering on all the other people. And then I lead into, telling them that's basically what we do as coaches on that challenge group aspect. So have they ever considered, becoming a coach? I know that they're getting their Shakeology every month, and I think theirs is going to be shipped out, in 2 more weeks, and they could, save money coaching. And then I typically wait for a response. I don't give any more information at that point. And then once they respond, if they're interested or want more information, I've been trying to lead them into like a sneak peek group or like a webinar or something. Typically the sneak peeks is what I've been using.
Okay. And I also liked what you said before when we ran our Push to Diamond group, when you were talking about how you do a point system in your challenge groups, I think, something like that. And then you gave extra points for anyone who would watch the weekly business presentation webinar or sneak peek.
Right. So I do points for, I have like accountability posts with points. So they get points for various things, sharing their workout, sharing their Shakeology, a meal. Let's see, what else? Sharing before and after pictures or their results. Extra points for letting us coaches share their information. It doesn't have to be pictures, but it could just be like sharing their story. And then also whenever we do have those webinars, the business opportunity webinars, or even some of the ones that were product related, but where the business opportunity was shared at some point, I would share a link to that, to the live broadcast or to the replay, and then offer extra points for anybody. And then what I do is I ask them to, share what they learned or the biggest takeaway. So I know that they watched it, and then those people earn extra points towards that month's prize.
Awesome. I think that's a great way to put it in front of them without being like,
because then it's their choice if they want to watch it.
Totally. That's awesome. So I think that was a great system right there. If you guys are taking notes, how she's reaching out to her challengers. Number one, she's acknowledging them or complimenting them. Number two, she's thanking them for being an impactful person in the group. And number three, she's explaining to them like, hey, do you know you're doing what I do as a coach? And have you ever considered, and sharing some of those benefits, and then backing off, waiting for them to respond. And when they do, leading them to a third-party tool. That's really the system and how simple it is. But if you miss one step of that, or you're not doing that on a regular basis, you're not going to see the same results, right? And what is your target market, and how does everyone find their target market?
So I think I watched a webinar on, maybe it was one of yours, on finding your target market, but it had like an exercise where you write down, I think it was 3 things that you think of when you think of yourself. And so, being a mom, obviously for me it was being a mom, but also being a big breastfeeding support person and breastfeeding advocate was number 2, and also a big baby wearer. So like wearing, my baby in a wrap or a carrier was another one. So I kind of have those 3 things together. So it focuses around women, babies, moms. And that just evolved into my target market, which I guess that's always where I've been. It's just until you really think about it, you don't realize that's the majority of your network. And most of the people I've brought in are all moms. Not all of them are breastfeeding moms or baby wearers, but a big majority are at least one of those 3. So I use that to then join groups in Facebook, which helps me relate with people, because then I can comment and interact with people, and it's natural because it's something that I'm passionate about as well. So I think that's really helped.
Right. Awesome. Okay. All right. So number 6 is, how do you help your new coaches become successful? What do you set as their beginning activities or their goals? And what systems are you using?
So this is kind of an evolving thing for me, still being a newer coach. But I typically, when I bring someone new on, I do send out a welcome email, which I've actually condensed quite a bit lately because of some people have said it's a little overwhelming, like with the too much information being given. So I backed off and I skimmed it down to just a very short welcome to the team, and then just a couple of steps to take, and then they get back to me, and then I move on with some new steps. So the first steps I have them do are do the 7-day quick start, have them print that out and work on steps 1 to 3, but look over some of that coach action plan part on the second page. I don't expect them to know all of that stuff just yet, but have them look over that, and then let me know once they've done those things. And then we will do our getting started right call. And then that helps me kind of go through some of the things on that action plan and kind of see how or what they're wanting from this business. I also then plug them into the 14-day internship, and then I'll move on to the new coach apprenticeship. The same things that I did, and I tell them all these are the exact same things that I did. If you just do them and you follow them, that I can see that they would have success too. It's just a matter of actually doing it.
Right.
And then I'm still kind of evolving some of the other steps. Like I added in making sure they go into the Beachbody online office, of course, and doing going to the news and training, and then doing the coach and the overview sections, because that ends up giving them a lot of information that I find that they're asking me at some point before doing the 14-day internship.
Awesome. So this was not a question on the form, but you have a handful of coaches who have coaches. So it's one thing to be able to sponsor coaches. It's another thing to be able to help your coaches sponsor coaches. So how are you doing that?
I think really just focusing on, I've been sharing with them what's been working with me. And that's really with the people in our challenge groups, seeing success, people that typically have bought a challenge pack, and, approaching them to do coaching if they're being really engaging in our groups. Some people have brought on spouses because after watching a lot of the top leaders videos and, hearing how you really want to, if you're going to build this business, how you want to position your spouse in the top of your organization. So a lot of them do have a spouse in there as well.
So you're running one challenge group with all your coaches and your customers as well as their customers.
Right.
So you're able to see how many customers they're onboarding and if those customers are active and cheerleaders in the group too.
Right.
I'm talking out loud.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I'm understanding this as we go. And then you're able to see like, this person that's, Malwina's customer is really active and she's doing great. And then you can even say to her, or you already are saying to her, hey, have you reached out to her? Because she's posting every day and she's lost weight and she would make a great coach. Is that sound right?
That's exactly what I've been doing. Like I've been paying attention and then reaching out to my coaches. Most of the time that I've reached out to them, they've already thought about it or considered it, or we're just getting ready to ask me the best way to approach it. So, but I find that it's been working well. A lot of them do plan on starting their own groups as well, whether it's like an Eat Clean group or doing something on their own. And I've also been trying to come up with a way where we could still use our big group because it creates lots of energy. Mm-hmm. And we've had lots of people approach us, like me and my coaches, when we're sharing about our new group starting on this date. And they're leading with wanting to join the group. Sometimes not even necessarily like the program. They're leading with, how do we join this group? Mm-hmm. So I think that we built a lot of value on the group. And so, we all want to belong and be accepted into something. So I think that's been a huge thing in our favor as well, that we do have this amazing group that's very active. So we're going to start dividing up, and I want them to have leadership as well within the group, where obviously I'm not the only one posting, which we do. So like with accountability posts and like engaging posts, we all take part and share. So it's not just my group, it's our group.
Yeah. No, I think that's great because it really keeps your coaches engaged in the very beginning. It keeps you close to them and it
Mhm.
makes it really easy for them to invite because it's an ongoing successful group, and it's also an opportunity for you to, really build those strong relationships with them in the very beginning, which is really important. And when they're ready and they have that confidence to then go off and do their own groups, they can do that. But they're going to then repeat. They're going to duplicate what you've taught them. So hopefully, then when they are ready to do that, they'll have all their coaches in their groups and hopefully do the same thing. That's the whole point. Awesome. Okay, number 7. So how are you connecting with your prospects that is impactful? In other words, everyone does this a little bit different. Are you connecting with your prospects mostly on social media, face to face, phone calls?
So the majority of my business is on Facebook, just from my Facebook posts. Like I said, sharing my results, my journey. I try to follow like every morning I try to do like a motivational post. I try to do like a family, post something about my kids or what's going on in my life. I try to do like a post where I'm asking a question. And then I try to do something that isn't technically business related, but it is, whether it's fitness or health or something. But so that's where most of it comes from. And then the networking within various groups is how I find most people. But I'm also, since I've kind of come out of my shell a little bit, I'm in a lot of mom groups as well. So I take my kids out and I meet moms out in the community, like at parks and play dates and stuff like that. And a lot of them I'm friends with on Facebook, and they have commented. They'll ask me about, oh my gosh, like you're like 25 pounds smaller, or like, what are you doing? Or, you seem so happy and you're always so so motivated, and you're so inspirational. Like it's crazy to hear all these things about yourself sometimes when you were so opposite just like 3 or 4 months ago. But so that kind of leads into me sharing what I've been doing. Some of them have already maybe sent me messages asking me, but maybe it stalls and they don't respond. But once they see me face to face and they ask me, it kind of opens that door and it's very natural. So I'm able to then kind of just share the same stuff that they've probably already been seeing on Facebook, my results. I've been doing this program and I've lost this much weight and I have so much energy, and, I'm not tired in the morning anymore. And it kind of just, then they'll ask me, well, would it be something that they could do, or would they have the same results? And, after talking with them and finding out what their goals are, it opens the door for me to share. And then I'll typically leave it with, when I get home, I'll send you a message and I can get you some more information. But I try to, let them know that I'll be in touch with them back kind of online once we're home, because it is hard when you have your kids running around. And I don't want to occupy the whole play date and stuff with business. But
Well, and you touched on a couple things that I need to highlight. One is just the fact that I love that you're talking about this because I'm a fitness instructor, so kind of the same things would happen to me where I would post on social media and people will see the posts, whether they like them or not. You know that they're seeing them. And then I would run into people face to face when I would teach class. And a lot of times, same thing. What are you doing? You're so excited. You're so happy, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they know what you're doing because you're talking about it all the time. But what they're really saying is, I'm kind of interested and tell me more. And I feel like too, whether you're talking to people face to face or you're on the phone with them, a lot of times people are just, I hate to use the word testing you, but kind of they're testing you in the aspect that they want to see if you're still that excited about it, or you're just posting it that way on social media. They almost want to see you flinch. And do you agree with that?
I do, yeah.
And it really is just being excited, Don't worry about what you need to say. Just share your excitement and share your story, and then ask them questions about their goals or what they might be interested in. And don't give out too much information. Just say, hey, it's awesome. And there's something that you did say, though, when we talked before this call. Do you remember exactly what that is, when you're like, once they've told you, hey, yeah, no, I do, I need to lose 20 pounds. I've had my daughter now, she's a year, and I do need to lose 20 pounds. And
Right. Well, I typically then will mention that I think that what I did will work for them. And, sometimes I'll use the name. I've maybe already used the name. Like for me, it's been 21 Day Fix. So once they tell me what their goal is or what they need to work on, then I do typically tell them, oh my gosh, this would be so great for you. I'm sure you could lose the weight, and, I'd love to help you. Or, and then instead of what I used to do before and be kind of mousy about it and not really go anywhere with that part of the conversation, now I will say, that it will work, and I'll, send you a message.
don't you feel like that coaches, or even yourself in the beginning, you kind of have that mentality of like, well, if they're really interested, they're gonna just ask me.
Right.
That doesn't happen, does it?
No, people want you to almost tell them what will work for them. And that was another thing with the, when I first started, I always led with the base package because I was afraid of the price objections. So when they would ask me, well, how much does it cost or whatever, I would usually send them that one and then be like, oh, or you could do this. And I wasn't selling any challenge packs in the very beginning. And then I started leading with the challenge pack, and started getting a lot of challenge pack orders. And so I have mostly challenge packs now versus the individual product orders. So I think whatever you share with them about what you think will help meet their goals, they'll see value in that. So if you don't see value in sharing the challenge pack, and you think it's just the base package because you're assuming that the finances or whatever, that's what they might go with.
And just being bold at the point where they are interested and they are telling you, hey, can you help me? This is what I want to achieve. They have opened up to you. They have shared their goals with you. They trust you. They like you. You have to look for those signs. And once you see those signs, you have to be bold enough to say, okay, here's what you need to do, because it's true. That is exactly what people are looking for. They're looking for a leader in the aspect that you believe in them, that they can do this, and then you just need to tell them what to do next. So her exact phrase was, what I've been doing, I think would be great for you.
Right, yeah.
What I've been doing, I think would be great for you. Let me send you some information on it. That's it, you guys. And however you are going to word that so it's natural to you, but that's what people are looking for from you. Ask yourself, am I doing that? Am I being bold? Am I making a statement like that? And telling them what to do next. And what to do next is literally, let's get you started. I want to get you in my next group. Here's what you need to do. Okay, so number 8 out of 9, which means we're almost done. What would you tell a coach in your shoes that wants to draw a line in the sand today and go all in? Where to start, what to do?
So I think the first thing is just realizing that we all have this opportunity, and that, it's not like apparently like this visible thing, but if you can almost like picture it like something that you're holding in the palm of your hands, like this thing that you can physically, like it's a tangible thing in the palm of your hands. You have to like see it like that. And I wasn't there in the beginning. Like it was just this thing off far away that, well, maybe I can do it. But I think if you can like try to visualize it more as something that you have, and you just need to grow it. So for me, that was the first step. And then just like really just making that decision. You can't have, well, I'm going to try it. I'll see what I can do. I might make it work. You really just have to go for it, and you have to really step out of your comfort zone a little bit, which I know is so hard because that was one of the hardest things for me. Just, that fear of people judging me, my friends, coworkers, like cousins, like worrying about what they're thinking about me. But in the big scheme of things, it really doesn't matter because they might think something negative, but it's based off of who knows what. It has nothing to do with me or what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is for me and for my family. So you just need to run with it. So I think just the biggest thing is making that decision, like seeing that you have it in your hands and going for it.
Awesome. All right. So last question is, and this is for accountability, right? Because this is a huge rank and huge milestone that you've achieved, and I'm all about like celebrate it, let's go, woohoo, but get back to work, right? Right after you've done that. So what are your next goals for 2015, 2016?
So my biggest goal, like my biggest personal goal, is to retire from my nurse practitioner job, which I'm planning on doing in this coming year, like 2016. I'm doing it. So some of my things that are going to help me get there, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, but I want to help at least 2 of my coaches hit diamond. So that's my biggest goal, is to help them reach diamond. And then of course to continue bringing on new coaches. I haven't really set like a number yet for how many new coaches I want to bring. You guys say go for 30, so 15 more. But definitely to help 2 of them hit diamond.
Mm-hmm. As many as it takes to find those 2 is how I would definitely answer that for sure. Awesome. Well, I'm so excited for you. I'm so proud of you to hear you just like be so confident in talking about this.
Well, thank you.
It's exciting. So this was a great call. I can't wait to hear the feedback from everyone. Thanks so much for doing this. I'm going to go ahead and turn the recording off so we can wrap it up. Thanks, you guys.